Alright, so let's get this started. It's the Damn Boy Phantom Show.
I'm ready to break his spine. I want that bitch, she a friend of mine. She said, well, I eat it as wine and dine.
I don't know how to do this YouTube thing. It's my first time, so you gotta bear with me. My bad. Tonight I want to talk about arguments. In my conversation about arguments, which is not a conversation because I'm not talking to someone, just talking to the camera. Just gonna talk about the good pointers to have a good argument, to make sure that your point gets across, that you're felt. But before I get in there, I just want to drop some prerequisites. A lot of times, if you're coming from a perspective that someone else can't see, you're probably not going to be heard. So what I would first advise you to do in any argument, any debate, any verbal battle, is that if you're not being heard, you're wasting your time. A lot of times people only want to respond to what you said. They're not really listening. So yeah, they hear you, but they didn't hear you. And with that being the case, you have to be able to detect that early on and then not allow yourself to stay in the conversation. So with you taking that into mind before the argument starts, to be able to stand firmly in that battle, not let your emotions get triggered, understand where they're coming from. So let's get into it. So I'll give you an example. Let's say we talking about, say you got a male and a female, and we're having that typical podcast conversation. I'm gonna use the 50-50. Women believe that if a man makes you go 50-50, he not on his job as a man. There are other men who subscribe to that idea as well. Those men have plentiful amount of success and money, and they can do these things. So for one, as a man, we have a purpose, and our purpose is to provide and protect. And if we can't do that, we're not fulfilling our purpose. And that feeling comes like when you having a conversation with other men. You talking to women and you knowing you're not, for example, let's say you're talking to 10 women and you like all of them. You're like, I could really fuck all of y'all, but you can't provide for all of them. That's cool, because unfortunately, because you can fuck them, in this day and age, it doesn't really matter if you can provide for them. In the 50-50 argument, a lot of men, us men, fall trapped into that conversation because the person arguing that 50-50 is this, 50-50 is that, doesn't understand what it really means. For one, the 50-50 doesn't have to be bills. Once upon a time, it wasn't. Your job in the home was what it was. My job in and out of the home was what it was. And as long as I did mine and you did yours, that was the 100%. That was the 50-50. Now that y'all have created the institution where you could work, it's like all the things that you want that, for example, I either wouldn't want to do or wouldn't want to take you or wouldn't want to pay for out of just my pocket. Like, I give you the money, you go buy whatever you want. All of that stuff, you can kind of take that out a little bit because she can now generate her own money and go make herself happy. But that, of course, became poisoned because I believe it was around the 50s when they started advertising for women to get jobs. And that was due to World War II. So it could have been like the 40s, 1940s. And then as we get to the 70s, we get where they, in the black community specific, made the institution to where if the woman gets the man out of the house in any way, shape, or form, the government will assist her. Once that started to become the norm, and I guess that was somewhat supported by the whole feminism, more women, even outside the black community, were trying to get the benefits of not having the man in the house. The 50-50 argument that women make, that we are supposed to do everything, and they're not really supposed to do shit, because that's their argument. Their argument is, nigga make you go 50-50, is this, is that. So essentially, you don't want to do anything. You want a man to go 100% and you go 0%, and then you want the man to be faithful, appeal to your emotions, handle all of your business, yet you want to give 0% effort into the survival. The 50-50 conversation is not happiness. It's not what a relationship needs. It's always been survival. Okay, if I'm hunting the buffaloes, and I got the buffaloes, I bring the buffalo back and I gotta cook the buffalo up. Like, I could do that, but if I gotta do all of that, what do I need a woman for? At them times when my human urges of sex hit me, yeah, I'll go find a woman. Then if I ever feel like I want to reproduce, I can do everything for myself. So that my choice of who I'm going to reproduce with wouldn't even be based off of who fills the other half. It'd be based off of, I guess, who looks the best. I can do everything. And this is the mentality of a rich man, essentially. I can do everything. So I don't need you to do or be useful in any way. So just make my babies and sit there and be a prop. Yes, without any rich man fully addressing it in that way, that's kind of not only how y'all see it, but that's kind of how it is for us. Especially if you literally bring nothing to the table. You just want to bring your looks, your fake booty, your long list of dicks. You bring absolutely nothing, and then you want to be treated like you're something. Then you have the women who have put in hours of work, years of work, and by that, they can stand in a similar position to a man, a successful man. Her innate desire is still to be taken care of, especially by somebody who's more successful than she is, in spite of her being incredibly successful. And because, of course, she's really not gonna find that, she now can influence other women who are not as successful as she is, and she can influence them by telling them, hey, I got all of this and I don't need a man. Men to women who are successful are just like women to men who are successful. It's simply a prop. It's simply an accessory. It's like, I got a Gucci belt or a Louis belt or a Fendi belt or something. It's just whichever one I want to wear today. That's what it is. That's what happens when you can do everything. That's what the other person is to you. They're dependent. They're just like a child. Even though they're a grown person, even though they're demanding respect and they want to be acknowledged as though they're an equal, but they put in no work. Yeah, that's my take on that, the 50-50 argument. You can give me your opinion in the comment section. The next point I want to get at is